This is a tutorial by Everyday Nonprofits on how to use Zoom to broadcast live to your nonprofit's Facebook page or your YouTube channel. First, you're going to need a paid Zoom account. In this case, we're using Zoom Pro. And you can live stream from either your Zoom meeting or Zoom webinars, which is a paid add-on. Zoom meetings are when all participants can choose to be on video and audio, and webinars are better suited for presentations and especially live streaming, as viewers are in watch mode, and you can limit video and audio sharing to only your panelists. However, you can share screens and therefore a presentation in both meetings and webinars. And you can live stream in both too. If you're going to use live streaming via your Zoom meeting, I suggest only inviting presenters to the actual Zoom meeting and invite your viewers to watch on Facebook or YouTube at the time of your broadcasts. And that'll limit the possibility of your participants in Zoom getting on video and audio themselves and maybe sharing something they shouldn't. Okay, now once you're logged in, you're going to go ahead and click My Account to get into the back-end settings. And before we start live streaming, we're going to have to go into our account management and then account settings. This is where we can turn on live streaming for meetings. And it's going to be all the way down here at the bottom. There we go. Allow live streaming meetings turned on, and check off which options you want to allow meeting hosts to be able to live stream to: Facebook, Workplace by Facebook, or YouTube. Custom live streaming service is when you're going to use a third-party broadcasting system like OBS or livestream.com to broadcast to Facebook, YouTube, or multiple channels at the same time. For this tutorial, we're just going to broadcast live to Facebook and just to YouTube. Once those have been turned on, you can scroll back up to the top left-hand sidebar and click Webinar Settings if you're using Webinar. And likewise, we'll do the same thing, go down to In Webinar Settings, Edit, and turn on to allow hosts to live stream their webinars. Okay, next we're going to go into one of our webinars. Here we already have one scheduled. And you want to make sure when you're scheduling your webinars that you enable practice session. If you haven't yet, you can hit edit this webinar and change to turn that on. This will allow you to go in to start your webinar before your actual start time, whether it's days, weeks, or even minutes before, to test out your functionality. So let's go ahead and do this. It's going to ask us to open Zoom. Okay, so you can see here we're in Zoom and we're in practice mode only. So none of our attendees who may have registered through Zoom for our webinar can join us at this point. But if other panelists have registered, they can go ahead and join, and you'll be able to allow them into this practice mode. And this is great minutes before you go live to prepare and make sure that everyone's audio and video are looking good. But it's also great to do even hours or days before your actual webinar to do a practice run or even test your connection to your live streaming. So you can go ahead and set up a webinar and test your live streaming connection at any time without having to actually go live. So before we actually talk about live streaming, let's talk about audio and video. You'll see the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see a mute icon and a stop video icon. And you can see these arrows. These allow you to choose which microphone and which speaker are going to be used by your Zoom connection. Likewise, if you have multiple cameras connected, maybe another desktop that has its own camera, you could also switch between which cameras are being used as well. And with your audio, I like to always use some type of headphones, either plugged in or wireless, so that your speakers on your computers aren't making noises that your computer's microphone might pick up. And because that's where you're going to get the echo and the feedback in your Zoom webinars or calls. Okay. Under the More option, you're going to see those live streaming options for Facebook and YouTube in particular. Let's start with Facebook, and we'll do that first. Now when we click this, it's going to open up my Facebook account, and because I'm already logged in, it's going to ask me, where do I want to go live? If you're not yet, just log in first. You'll see that we're going to share it on a page that we manage, because we want to make sure this is to our nonprofit's Facebook page. And we'll choose the page that we want to broadcast live to, as well as what page we want to broadcast as, or post that broadcast as. Now usually these are going to be exactly the same. Unless you have multiple pages and you're doing something fancy, you just want to make sure that you have permissions to broadcast as and to the pages that you're using. When you hit next, it's going to load Facebook's producer mode, in which we're going to start to see a preview of our Facebook live broadcast. Now this is not going to live broadcast immediately. which is perfect to allow us to test out the preview connection, as well as to test out, to set up our broadcast before we actually go live. You'll see here that we are in preview mode and my video is a little bit delayed, and that's because Facebook will have about a 10 to 20 second delay on your video. We'll also see a notification here about Facebook's new live producer. I'm going to dismiss this for now because they haven't made us switch it over yet, and Facebook's old live producer works really well. Down here at the bottom, we'll see some data about our connection, including our video bit rate, which is how strong of a connection our video is to Facebook. And we'll see a green light under streaming with 0 issues recorded. If you have any issues or any connection issues with Facebook and Zoom, that'll usually show here with a yellow or red icon. Now before we hit go live, we do want to actually say something about this. Now this is going to post a new update and notify our followers that we have gone live. So let's welcome them with a post about what this video is going to be about. This is just a test, just letting my followers know that they can just ignore this for now. And Zoom to Facebook Live. We'll give it a title as well. This is the title of the live stream video as well as the recorded video that will remain on Facebook after the live stream ends. If you do tag any categories that your video might be about, this can help Facebook determine which of your followers they should show the content to. And if you have permissions to also live stream to one of your Facebook page's groups or cross-posting on other Facebook pages that you also manage, those can be done via the Settings tab. Now before we hit go live, let's go back to Zoom, and we're going to want to go ahead and hit broadcast here first. That puts our Zoom in broadcast mode, and if we did have Zoom registrants as well as our live stream, then we want to welcome them at this point because they're going to be signing in now. Now we're going to go back over to Facebook, and this is where we're going to hit go live on Facebook. Everything that happens after we hit go live will be live on Facebook, and it's fairly instant. However, you're not going to see your go live for a good 10 or 20 seconds later, so you'll want to go ahead and start talking to your audience as if they're there, because they are. So let's go ahead and hit go live, and we'll say hi to everybody. Hey everybody, and welcome. This is a quick tutorial on how to use Zoom to broadcast live to Facebook. You can ignore this video for now because we'll have the full tutorial online for you soon. Now you'll see here that it brought me to my Facebook landing page, but if I go to the page that I'm broadcasting to, one, you'll see that there's a notification that we've gone live with this video, and I'll be able to scroll down to actually find that live broadcast. We can see here in our videos that it's noting that we're also live here. And remember that when you go to this broadcast, it's going to, as soon as we click this, it's going to start playing in my ear a 10 to 20 second delayed version of what I'm saying. So I'm going to mute that so that I'm not distracted by that. And I'm also going to welcome folks with a comment. This is where I would usually leave some type of welcome, ask people to introduce themselves, maybe share their questions, and let us know in the comments how they're doing or what they think. And I'll usually pin that comment so that everybody who joins this live cast from here on out will always be able to see that comment of ours in the chat room, regardless of how busy that chat room may get. And that's it. When you are ready to stop your live stream, you can either stop the live stream independently and then end your meeting, or you can end the Zoom meeting entirely, which will also stop the live stream. Remember, the Facebook live stream gets saved on Facebook as a video, and in a few minutes, folks will be able to watch it again at their leisure. Next up, let's talk about live to YouTube. It's actually a little bit easier because we're just going to go directly live to YouTube. What you'll see here when you first click that button is Zoom is going to try to connect to your YouTube account, and you'll decide which account you want to live stream to. Once you've chosen your organization's channel that you want to live stream to, you'll get to either change the title that it's already brought in from your Zoom webinar title, and choose what audience you want to see it. Usually you're going to leave that as public, but in this case we're going to mark it as private, just so that folks don't have to see this test. And when you're ready, you're going to hit go live. It's that simple. YouTube will open up a connection to your live video where you'll be able to reply to people and chat in the comments with more. Just like Facebook, you're going to be about 10 to 20 seconds delayed, and so just remember that you'll want to turn the audio off if it's not already on that YouTube live stream so that you're not distracted by the secondary audio coming through. Likewise, you can also end this live stream via Zoom or end the meeting to end both your Zoom meeting and the live stream at the same time. And that's it. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And don't forget to hit subscribe and mark that notification bell so you'll know about future videos that we upload here at Everyday Nonprofits. If you'd like to get more online training for how your nonprofit can use digital better, visit us at everydaynonprofits.com.